Welcome in. I am the Crypto Bull God, and this is all on the charts bonus edition weekly close. We got a weekly candlestick and a 2-week candlestick closing on Bitcoin today, so we're going to take a look at the charts and see how things are shaping up, although things are looking good. Hope everyone's having a great day. If you appreciate the content, make sure to hit the thumbs up button, drop me a comment, and click the bell icon for all notifications to know when I go live. Sometimes I go live at irregular times, like on a Sunday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm in a good mood. I'm in a very chill, good mood. The Philadelphia Eagles, shout out to the Philadelphia Eagles defense for showing up big today. Game ball definitely goes to the defense. And then on the offensive side, Goddard and Saquon Barkley fucking went nuts today. And how about them Cowboys? Cowboys are currently in the third quarter here. I have the game on in the background. I'll catch it at the end of the stream. They look like they're going to lose 2 big games at home in blowout fashion. So it's just a good time to be alive as an Eagles fan. So feeling pretty good today. Feeling pretty good. In a good mood. And we have some good price action coming in on Bitcoin we're going to take a look at here. Just a little update that not sure if I'll be live streaming tomorrow. And then there will be a couple dates next week. I'm going to be traveling. A couple dates next week I will not be live streaming that I'll keep you current on as we approach the end of the week. But with that being said, let's get into it. And, you know, today's live stream will be important, especially because, like I said, I'm not sure if I'm going to be live streaming tomorrow. So in terms of my view on the weekly closes and the 2-week close, it's important to pay attention to today's live stream to get my thoughts on that. So we can turn that red area of resistance into support. Now, what's nice to see going into the weekend here is we've held this general area as support, which is great. And you can see what's going on in this chart. It's exactly what I spoke to. So long as price was able to maintain itself right around that 200 simple moving average, the quicker moving average, which is the 50, is beginning to curl up. You see the curl coming in here. The 200 has begun to flatten out. That's what we want to see. We want to look for those clues that a lot of other people aren't looking at, right? A lot of other people aren't looking at, but we want to pay particular attention to that may give us a hint of some potential bullish turnaround in price action. These moving averages and how they're responding right now is very encouraging. So long as price continues in a bullish fashion here, you should see this moving average gradually curl up here, and maybe we get a curl at the very golden cross here at the beginning of October. Kyle, welcome in. Juan, always good to see you. Oh, by the way, guys, thumbs up. Would appreciate the engagement. Thank you so much. Now, we're running into resistance right here at 63.8. Okay, 63.8. It's not coincidental that you can see we've banged our heads up here multiple times, right? Multiple times right at this $63,800 level, which I've marked as an area of price confluence. So now that we're below that area, it's going to act as resistance. Now, again, we're still bearish, okay, from a purely objective TA perspective, because we still have, I just want to keep things real, guys, we still have a lower high coming in here. This is still, we're still getting lower highs. We have to get above this $65,600, $65,000 area. Once price, okay, it doesn't, not when it wicks up there, okay, not when you see some sort of sharp volatility that doesn't sustain itself. Once we get up into this area and we confirm it as support, now we've created a higher high. Now we can start getting more bullish on the lower time frame views, right? We have the higher lows. I've clearly depicted to you the higher lows that have come in here, right? We have this low and now this higher low. And technically, I don't know why this one must have accidentally gotten deleted. We really have 3 higher lows in here that we've spoken to. Okay, so that's great to see, but we want that higher high to come in, right? We want that higher high to come in. Thank you, Juan. You're doing the job that Kathy used to have. Kathy no longer is on the live stream. So you're doing the job that she used to partake in. So I appreciate that. All right, now what I'd like to do, and maybe we'll also spend some time looking at a few altcoins, but again, we want to get a general sense of how Bitcoin is shaping up for the close this week, the two-week candlestick, and what we can expect for the end of the month. And I'll kind of set expectations for October, or as many are calling it, Uptober, kind of set some realistic expectations for that month. Because again, one of the things that I really stress on this channel is in order to really have a firm handling on what we can expect for the market as a whole, we need to understand what our view is of Bitcoin. Bitcoin, until something changes down the road, Bitcoin is the #1 cryptocurrency, and it's going to drive all of that value within the market, right? It's, as Dusty Rhodes used to say on Saturday night, WCW, what was it? WCW Saturday night. Bitcoin is the mothership, all right? It's the mothership, all right? Now let's get into the weekly view here. As you can see, we're in a massive bull pennant. That bull pennant is panning out. Again, this is one of these views again. Let's see if it kind of reiterates what I said. Now on this view, we have a pennant here. You see this line at 66.4? This is going to start breaking to the upside once you see us breaking right around this 66. Of course, depends when we break. It could be anywhere above this black descending line. So it really could be any of the space in here, depending where we break out. 66,000. So once you start to see weekly closes with a candle body that are confirming above that area, which is above this black descending line of resistance here, you can start to feel confident that we're beginning to get a breakout of this bull flag. And breaking out from the bull flag does not mean all of a sudden up only, right? We keep things very realistic on this channel. Breaking out of this bull flag does not mean we're just going to go on a straight shot, right? We could consolidate here, but you should expect higher highs and higher lows. I would say in generalities, okay, given my expectations for the fourth quarter, let's actually spend a moment talking about that. What are my realistic expectations right now going into 2025? My realistic expectations is I am expecting Bitcoin, it might not be till November, and we'll talk about that. Regardless, whether it's November, October, December, I believe it's going to begin pushing up towards that $85,000 to $92,000 mark in the fourth quarter. I don't think that is going to be the cycle top or the blow off top. I think you're going to see a run in general within the crypto market going into that March, May timeframe. Then the market will cool off going into the fourth quarter of next year. And I think it's very possible that we really truly won't get our blow off top until late next year, okay, whether it's November or December, right? The important thing to keep in mind is whatever your perspective is on how high a price Bitcoin will go or your altcoins, the length of time that the cycle will last, I believe what is paramount to your success in this market is identifying some historically significant indicators that are suggesting to you that an impulsive top is coming into the market and the market is very likely overheated. And it's showing you that it would be smart to sell into strength, right? That's that toppings video. I'll continue talking about it. I think there's a lot of value in this video. This really should be the video that has 5,000 views on my channel, not price target videos, but we all know what gets clicks. You'll want to check this out if you haven't, but essentially, and we'll get back to immediate price action here in a moment. Essentially, the reason that I'm so high on that video and really encourage you to check it out is because selling is predicated. That video says, hey, selling and your success in the market is predicated on using a handful, not just one, because one would imply certainty in any chart, which we know there's no certainties in charting, a handful of historically significant indicators that when they start to flash, it says, man, it's not saying we're right at the top, but it says we're getting close to a top if we haven't topped. So it would be smart to start selling out. That's what I would encourage you to do. And so the beautiful thing about that is whether I'm correct, and I sort of lean towards this going into late 25, or maybe we top in early 25 or the first half, it doesn't matter. The topping, we're going to allow those topping indicators to guide our sell strategy. All right? It's the only way, I cannot state this enough, having gone through the pain, okay, of seeing unrealized gains dwindle away because I misinterpreted the charts and I did not sell out. I did not sell out like I should have back in 2021. I've shared that with you guys. You learn from your mistakes and you do things differently moving forward to increase the likelihood that something like that will not happen again. So I feel very confident and I feel solid on my sell strategy. And, I can't say this enough. Unless if you are actively selling your investments, you're not going to make, it doesn't matter what the dollar value is. You open up your Ledger wallet or your Tangent wallet and you look at it, it doesn't matter if it's $1 million, $100,000, whatever the value is, it doesn't matter unless you sell it. It's nice to look at, but you have to have a sell strategy. Easier said than done, guys. So let's take a look at realistically how prices are going to close out today on the weekly and 2-week. This is the bread and butter in terms of why I'm live streaming right now. I think this weekly and 2-weekly close is very important for Bitcoin, and I'll explain why. And then it'll also set the stage for what I think will realistically occur going into November. Okay? So if we take a look at the price indicators, where's price at right now? We're clinging on to around 63,400. We got 42 minutes. There isn't a lot that's going to change in the price action right now. And because there isn't going to be a drastic buy side or sell side activity in Bitcoin, we can assess these indicators and with a reasonable degree of confidence, we can say that the way the indicators look right now is the way they're going to print. These indicators are in real time. They won't be finalized until the price closes today, but we're close enough to that endpoint. So let's first take a look at the relative strength index. This is very critical. We've been in a downtrend on this relative strength index since March. Okay, so for 6 months, for 6.5 months, we've been in a downtrend. We're now breaking that downtrend. The other thing I really like to see, we've spent a lot of time talking about this relative strength index right now is trying to get back above 54, which is a critical level we've spent a lot of time on this channel talking about. So it would be very nice to at least see us breaking descending resistance and getting right around this 54 level. That would set us up beautifully for the fourth quarter of trying to get up to that ever so important 70 level on the relative strength index up here and breaking that. That's when we see the really euphoric price action in Bitcoin. So the relative strength index, we have a check mark there. Things are looking good. Let's get into the MACD. Now we want this MACD, this moving average convergence divergence. We want this MACD to begin to flatten out and cross up. And I like what I'm seeing here. When Bitcoin's price prints today, what you should see on this MACD, this orange line will begin to flatten. And this blue line is going to get closer to wanting to cross here. And your histogram will be declining in red. It's not going to turn green, but it'll be declining in red and maybe be up here. Okay? So very, very encouraging to see. Again, the MACD, another important price indicator. This is setting up for a bullish cross potentially as early as October, potentially. So something very encouraging to see on the weekly close. Now, we've spent quite a bit of time as well talking about the stochastic RSI. Stochastic RSI is looking great. We've gotten above 20. We're going to print this week above 20. We know because we've spent the time studying recent history. Typically, I think the probability is 67% in the past 4 years. In the past 4 years, there's a 67% probability that once we get above 20 here, this truly is going to lead to some significant upside, right? But the true confirmation here, is on the 2-week. So let's spend a minute talking at the 2-week, because something that we did note on an earlier live stream this week is while there were a couple false signals on the weekly, which makes sense. The more you study technical analysis, the more you understand this. When you look at lower time frames, there's more noise, okay? There's more fluctuation and volatility. When you look at higher time frames, because there's more price action condensed into one single candlestick. If you look at a month, it's a month of price action. If you look at a 2 month, it's 2 months versus a week. You know, a weekly chart's only 1 week of price action in each candlestick. Those higher time frames are less volatile, okay? And so long as you have enough price history, it gives you a better depiction on your view of the market, okay? So in this case, on the 2 week, there have not been any recent false signals on the stochastic RSI. So let's take a look at how this week's going to print here. First off, let's look at the MACD. MACD, again, this thing looks like it wants to flatten out here. You should see a lower red on the histogram here. Give this a couple more candlesticks. If we have favorable price direction, we're going to get a positive cross. Let's take a look at the relative strength index. And I'll be honest, where price is right now is about as best as you could have hoped for this week. So we still have declining resistance here. We still have descending resistance that we need to break above. We spent quite a bit of time on the prior live stream talking about that. We need to get up into this green area. We have quite a bit of headway above us here. We have this area of resistance, which really should be red. I think I just didn't want to make the chart too messy here. Do that. So we have an area of resistance at 59, and then we have this descending line and this ascending line that we broke below. All this is going to cause us, there should be a lot of resistance here, okay? So it's going to be a little bit of a struggle. We need some significant momentum to break above there. So still have some work to do there. Let's take a look at the ever-important stochastic RSI. Now, we just spoke recently on my last live stream. We were not expecting the stochastic RSI on the 2 week to get above 20. Realistically, what I said is we just wanted to finish the week strong such that this little move right here continued to move up. This thing should print right around where it's at now. And if it does, it sets us up beautifully for, I would say realistically, maybe 2 candlesticks from now in the middle of October, right around the middle of October, it is very possible we could be above 20, at latest possibly by the end of October, okay? This is setting up very beautiful for us. Again, when we take a look at the price action on Bitcoin, this is about as good a price action as you could have hoped for this week. And we'll get into the monthly view in a moment, and I'll explain why. Now, there is another important moving average here that we've spent a little bit of time talking about. It's also gotten a lot of other attention in the space. There are a few technical analysts whom I respect who have spoken about this moving average. This is the 21 EMA, or the 21 exponential moving average on the 2 week. Now, again, as a refresher for those who don't know the difference between an SMA, simple moving average, and an EMA, exponential moving average, the only difference between an SMA 21 and an EMA 21, it's both of them average out closing prices on the prior 21 candlesticks. However, the difference between the two is the simple is just a straight average. The exponential places more weight on the most recent price action. So whatever is occurring most recently has more weighting on how this line looks. Okay, hopefully that makes sense. So right now what we like to see, and this has had a couple false signals here where we've broken below and it hasn't been the end of the world, but we don't like to fuck around with this line. And right now it's very, very encouraging. This is almost a bullish engulfing candle, which would have been nice. Very, very encouraging to see that we're back above the 21 EMA. Essentially, you just don't want to hang out below here, and that line is at 57,000, right? So we really don't want to hang out around 57,000. We just don't want to do that. We want to try to keep our heads above, that $60,000 area. Now, the other reason, and you can clearly see on the monthly here, guys, I don't know how else to spell it out to you. I think I shared this with you. I posted a reply to Peter Schiff, who just constantly trolls the Bitcoin community. And he was saying essentially that all of this is bearish. And I mean, clearly, there's only one of two things going on. Either Peter Schiff, and he's a really smart guy, and I respect his opinion on a lot of different things. Either Peter Schiff is a terrible technical analyst, okay? Terrible technical analyst, because I see a bull flag. I also see a cup and handle pattern that we've talked about, okay? Or Peter Schiff is being disingenuous and in trying to instill fear in the market, which I would vote for the latter. I think that's been going on for a long time. He clings onto that gold narrative. Just amazes me. So we're in this massive bull flag. Now, what is the reason that this price action has me feeling so bullish in particular for the month of September? Now, we have, and unfortunately, I'm not going to be with you the day the candlestick closes, but I'll be with you this week because I'll be out of commission Monday and Tuesday. So I'll be with you on the 2nd to take a look at the monthly close. But barring some significant downside price action, please hear what I'm about to say. Barring some significant downside price action, we are set to close September green. Okay? Now, for all the fear that has existed around seasonality in September, I've really tried to help keep you guys grounded. If you've been paying attention to anything I've said here, I've participated on spaces a few times, echoing the same thing. People are misinterpreting what September means. And a lot of it has to do because these individuals don't take it upon themselves to educate them on what the seasonality of September actually means. And I also think it's in part based on a lot of that clickbait fear porn I speak to. There's a lot of influencers, I'll call them influencers, who put crafty little thumbnails together so that you click on their video and give them views, right? YouTube views right now are down significantly. So content creators, especially now, are looking for anything and everything they can do to get views, right? I'm not doing that here. It goes against my moral fiber. There's a line in the sand for me. I want people to tune in, obviously, because I think I have valuable content, but there's a line in the sand for me. I can't do cringe things, except dress up as Macho Man Randy Savage. Which if you've been here for a while, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But anyway, people have misinterpreted September. Okay, September typically is a red month, but it doesn't mean that we're going to have some drastic 10% fall within price, and that's how we're going to close the month out. It does mean there tends to be a lot of volatility, some sell-side pressure. But if you actually study the month in terms of how it's closed for Bitcoin, you might see it down 2%, 1.5%, 0.5%, 3% at most. So in this case, September looks like it's about to buck the trend. We opened September at 59,000, okay? We would have to get in the next 8 days, which isn't impossible, we'd have to close below $59,000. Which I don't see happening. But in the next 8 days, we would have to see prices go down over 7%, okay, throughout the span of these next 8 days for this to close red. I don't see that happening. Do I think that quite possibly this week could be red for Bitcoin? Absolutely. I think this week could end up being a red week. Maybe it's not, but I think it's very possible that we could get some sort of a doji or thin red body weekly candle here. But the main takeaway here, what I'm trying to state to you, is that September looks like it's coming in very favorable. Now, what is this setting us up for in October? Because I've spent a lot of time on my live stream talking about how I believe the fourth quarter is truly going to usher in what will either be our final impulsive top in the first half of 2025, and all the markets, all of crypto is going to top in that first half of 25, or, it ends up being the latter part of 25. Quite honestly, if I had to give you which one I hope happens and what I'd prefer the end of 25 for two reasons. One, some of the meme coins that I purchased, I would be able to sell at long-term capital gains taxes. And number two, the longer the runway here, the more time there is to allow for assets to appreciate, the higher the price targets we should expect. So I hope it's the latter part of 25, but we will see. In any case, I've been signaling to you that the fourth quarter is going to be extremely bullish. Now, the other thing that I've coupled that statement with is that does not mean that as soon as it is Tuesday, October 1st, prices are just going to start going bananas, to use Raoul Pal's term, okay? We're not entering necessarily the banana zone on October 1st, okay? I believe it is quite possible, especially given that we had if we can close out relatively where we're at right now, I believe October has the potential to be potentially a relatively flat month, okay? Maybe we get a green candlestick, for the month. Maybe we close above 68,000. That would be a huge win for us. I've talked about 68,000. I said once we get above 68,000, this has been, in fact, I'm going to mark it here. Once we get confirmation above 68,000, I think it is fucking go time. Prices are not going to hang out here long. So I think it's quite possible that for October, and it would be beautiful if this happened, maybe we close October, $68,000, right? I don't expect some massive green Jesus candle in October. But I think by the time we get to November, I think November is really where things are going to start fucking heating up. And it's going to get real. And the people that have been on the sidelines waiting for a pullback to all these CME gap levels and all these other fear porn levels that people have spoken to are going to be sidelined, just like they're always sidelined. History has these human emotions within the charts constantly play out in a similar fashion. It is so, guys, I cannot stress this enough. I've said this so many times. It is so easy to retrospectively go back and say, oh my God, well, it was pretty obvious this was a massive buying opportunity. This was a massive buying opportunity. Bullish divergence, should have been buying here. Yeah, it's easy to do that. But in the moment, when there's all the headlines and the fear porn on X and on YouTube and your natural human emotion, it feels uncomfortable to be buying at the levels that everybody is scared about. It is so much more challenging in the moment. Now, let me ask you, if you've been tuning in for the past couple months or couple weeks, have you ever come on this live stream and have I ever seemed extremely scared or nervous about the price action, right? I've helped to take an objective view of the markets and shared bearish views with you when there's been bearish views and bullish views when there's been bullish views, but I've always stuck to the high time frame macro cyclical picture because nothing has been invalidated in the charts, correct? This is what I've been saying for months. There's nothing that's been invalidated in the charts. Despite all this volatility, guys, despite Peter Schiff taking premature victory laps at $49,000, okay, nothing has changed in the chart. Again, been here, the market will always find a way to humble individuals, okay? This market, I'm sure at some point, will find another way to humble me. But I've been here long enough, guys. I've been reading these charts long enough. I've spent enough time being a nerd and just studying the data to feel very confident in how I am interpreting the price action. September is setting up to be a beautiful lob. That's the way to look at it. September is lobbing up for October. And if for October, we don't need October to be a massively bullish month. I'm not anticipating it. But if in October, realistically, what we can do is close anywhere up in this area, I'm telling you, November is setting up for that green Jesus candle stick we've been waiting for on a monthly. And we're going to be up to 85 to 92 before you know it in November or December. That is my view of the market. And just to kind of bring things home here and talk about altcoins for a moment, once you see that rise up in Bitcoin's price to that $85,000 to $92,000 range, that's when you're going to start to see a lot of momentum shift into your altcoins. It's the psychology of the market. If Bitcoin is doing really well, think about the market psychology. If Bitcoin is doing really well and it is hitting brand fresh new all-time highs, what is the psychology of the market like? Crypto's back. Bitcoin's boring. It's not going to give me a lot of returns. I need to get into Solana. I need to get into even Ethereum, which has been lagging. I need to get into XRP. I need to get into Hedera. I need to get into Caspa. So that's why a lot of the money begins to flood from those larger market caps. And that's why your meme coins are going to have a massive run. I'm a firm believer. But this is where you're going to see Bitcoin dominance begin to bleed down. And again, I can give you my opinion, in terms of where I'm leaning when the market's going to top out, but it doesn't matter as long as you're basing your sell strategy on what I discussed at the opening of the live stream. It shouldn't matter if the market tops in the first half or second half. You have that statistically significant data to tell you when you should start scaling out, no matter how uncomfortable that it seems. Let's take a look. Let's take a look at. Let's take a look at total 3. So total 3, I have to remind myself. Okay, so total is the total crypto market cap. Total 2 removes Bitcoin. And total 3, I'm pretty sure, removes Bitcoin and Ethereum. So you're getting all your altcoins you're getting the entire market excluding the 2 that really skew your view of how things are performing. I mean, because they comprise such a large market cap. So you're taking out Ethereum and Bitcoin. This looks beautiful. So yes, we have descending resistance here. Yes, we have another bull flag. I mean, do you want me to draw this out? I can draw this out for you. And again, this isn't what I hope plays out in the chart. I hope it does play out in the chart. But this isn't my hope or desires. These are just facts in the charts that I'm literally just reading the chart. I took classes on how to read charts, and that's what I'm doing right now. This is a bull flag. Now, the beautiful thing, the reason I looked at this right away, it's funny how we came down here to price confluence and touched perfectly at 466, 465. Oh, man, I love when TA works out great. The reason this is setting up so beautifully, this is the weekly. Look at this MACD, guys. What are you seeing on the MACD? What I see is if we close around current levels, which we're going to, we close in 20 minutes, this is going to want to curl up. This is going to want to curl up really soon. Now, that doesn't mean that things are just going to go batshit crazy, but obviously if you want to see a bullish turnaround within price, you want you want all your price indicators to go up and to the right, just like you want price to go up and to the right, okay? Look at the relative strength index. Do you notice anything on the relative strength index? I'll tell you what I see. I see bullish divergence on the weekly. Surprised we haven't talked about this before. Price was going down here. Okay, if we pulled up the price, you would see price coming down, yet the relative strength index is increasing. We're also starting to break out from this descending resistance here, right? So we've broken out of this descending resistance. Things are looking good. Stochastic RSI, are we above 20? We're well above 20. We're well above 20. So this total 3 is setting up beautifully. I know you guys are in a lot of altcoins. If you're like me and your portfolio is heavily weighted towards altcoins, unless if you have one of the really stronger performing coins as of late, you're feeling the pinch, right? There are some tokens that have been performing very well. SUI's been running really hard. CASP has been maintaining its market position around 16 to 17 cents. So there are some altcoins that have been performing well, but a lot of them have just continued to bleed and correct a lot harder than Bitcoin has. This chart is telling me that's about to turn around. Keep in mind, the last time, let's take a quick look at this. The last time we got our MACD cross, the relative strength index started to go up significantly and the stochastic RSI started to break 70. What happened? Let me show you what happened with price, okay? Okay, so this chart did a one up 150%. Now, the 150% comprises all of the altcoins, the entire market, okay, excluding Bitcoin and Ethereum. So you have smaller tokens that may have done a 10x, but because our market cap is so small, it's a weighted average, right? If you just know basic math, what a weighted average is. Maybe your Ethereum doubled, but something like a Caspa did a 5x, So, but in total, the market cap went up 150%. Let's do something interesting and actually see if this is a reasonable target. If we take the measured move here, okay, we're going to clone the poll, and let's say we break out of the pennant, not this week, but maybe next week. You take it at the point of breakout. We'll take a measured move. it takes us over $1 trillion, $1.4 trillion, right? And if we use the same angle, okay, this is the same angle here, you would see that at some point in the spring of 2025. And again, that is my full expectation. You don't know, I don't know when the market will top, right? Whether it will be the first half of next year or the second half. But one thing, either way, that I feel increasingly confident about is that beginning in the fourth quarter, going into March, May of next year, the entire crypto market is going to go on a very large run. A very large run, okay? This is what we're setting up for. Nothing has changed, guys. Things are looking monumentally bullish. It's going to be fun again to open up your Tangem, Ledger. I'm naming my own wallets. Tangem, Ledger, SafePal. It's going to be fun to open up those wallets and refresh the balances. It's going to be fun again. Trying to think if I have anything else. Let me see who I have in the let me see who I have in the live stream here. Kyle, good to see you, by the way. I know it's, sometimes the times that I live stream, it's challenging for some people to show up, so I appreciate it. Cable Capital, welcome on. I haven't seen you before. What's up, my friend? TM, welcome in. Frankie, always good to see you, my friend. Ugos, good to see you, man. Track, welcome in. A fellow consistent follower of the channel. Appreciate you. And Todd, man. Todd is my #1 fan. Thank you, Todd, for showing up to the live stream. Outside of CAS, 30 to 50% down in my other alts. Yeah, man. It's funny, for the people who are really salty about CAS but not doing anything at the moment, if you actually assess its price action in the past couple months, there was a day, I think it was Friday. It was either Thursday or Friday, where the rest of the market was like green pretty decently, and Caspa was slightly red. The perspective you have to have, though, is there were a lot of days where the market was either red and Caspa was green, or Caspa was relatively flat, maybe down a little bit, while the rest of the market corrected quite a bit. So, and that just goes, you can quickly just, if you want to assess the strength, I think we're probably still sitting there. Are we still at 20? Where are we at? We're at 23. Okay, so we're essentially right in line with FET here. We were at 21. Sui's been having a run of it. Raul Powell must be a market mover. That's all I can say. I have no comment on that project. But Caspa is maintaining its relative strength right in this 20 range. And if you've been with me for a while, when I was first talking about Caspa was all the way down in this 50 to 40 range. And it was kind of, for a long time, it was hovering between 40 and 44, and it was sort of stuck there. Then it made an astronomical jump, and it was in the 30s, and now it's all the way up near 20. Okay? I believe it's just a matter of time until we start coming up here, flipping Cardano. Yes, flipping Cardano, and battling for the number 10 spot. And who knows where it could go from there. We will see. But, and again, that's another reason why I genuinely hope that the cyclical top doesn't come in until late 25. It provides a lot more opportunity for a project like Caspa to really, really move. If you guys have checked out their roadmap, Crescendo, there's a lot of things coming up next year that are very bullish for the project. And we're not even listed on Binance or Coinbase yet. It's a matter of time until we're listed on there, but we're not even listed on there yet. So things are looking up. It's 1:42 a.m. here. Do you typically, so do you mind sharing where you're located, and do you typically have odd hours that you're up, or you just can't sleep and you're like, I'm going to listen to the soothing voice of CBG? I'm curious. Casper, not quite, my friend. Just gotta make sure I'm distinguishing between Caspa and Casper. Yeah, guys, things are looking great. I think we're gonna sign out here. TM, I'm not sure if these are normal hours for you, being up at 1:42 a.m., but try to get some sleep. I actually just, if you guys follow me on Instagram, Belgium, I'm always up for the weekly close. Nice, my friend. Fuck yeah. If you guys, I like that. I like that a lot. Welcome in from Belgium. That is awesome. This is why I love connecting with people on social media, because there's people all around the world. It's so cool. If you guys follow me on Instagram at CryptoBullGod, I actually just put out a post today speaking to just a lot of things that I have learned over the years from a health perspective, and all the things you don't see that someone does to maintain and continue being in really good shape and taking care of their body. One of the things that I spoke to is sleep, and just the importance of getting really good sleep. It's so critical, especially when you're a super active person. If you want to operate at a really high level cognitively as well as physically, you need to get that sleep. Allow the body to repair itself. It actually rejuvenates and repairs itself while you're sleeping. So hopefully no one fell asleep on my live stream. All right, guys, I'm going to tune out. Let you guys go. I don't know that I'll be back here tomorrow. If I'm not back here tomorrow, I will most assuredly be back here Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. So until next time, let's all spread awareness. And let's carry the education forward. Things are starting to look juicy, guys. It's going to be a hell of a fourth quarter. Cheers.